Hey again, everyone. It's Tyler Cavalli and Jacob Roth along with you for KRVN Sizzling across Nebraska, the Red Meat Road Trip. Well, the Red Meat Road Trip this time, we went down a different path as there is red meat that'll be here, I assume, but we're at Papa Moon Brewery here in Scottsbluff, Nebraska. So one would assume that there'll be brews and meat associated with this Red Meat Road Stop.
When we did pull up, it did say barbecue grill in big letters, so there is definitely going to be some red meat here. But it is a stop on the passport. You can look it up. You can do so by going to the Beef Council's website or KRVN.com and check it all out there. But really, really cool stop. Looking at the outside of it, it almost feels like it's not supposed to be here. And I don't mean that in a bad way. But looking at it from the outside and you're like, oh, okay, this is going to be different than anything else that we've seen so far, and I guess that's exciting.
So this isn't just a spot where we're just pulling off to sample some of the local brews. We are excited here to actually try some Nebraska beef that's infused with what is a unique spot, because most of the others, actually to this point, every other stop has been a true restaurant or bar. This is and I think to this point from my memory, the only brewery that is on the Nebraska Beef Passport program.
Yeah, no, excited to see obviously the way that it's going to be obviously a little bit different than all the other stops, as each stop does seem to feel different every time. But how they implement the red meat, how they implement the barbecue and the delicious Nebraska beef into their kind of bar food menu or their brewery food menu. Excited to kind of learn more and see what they got going on here in Scottsbluff.
Thanks to our great sponsors as always, Cross Diamond Cattle, Cross Diamond Meats in Bertrand, the Nebraska Cattlemen, the Dawson County Cattlemen, and of course the Nebraska Beef Council putting on the Nebraska Beef Passport program. So let's head on into Papa Moon Brewing here in Scottsbluff for our latest Red Meat Road Trip stop. All right, we are back once again here on KRVN Sizzling across Nebraska, as we're joined now by Catlin Massey, who is the owner of Papa Moon here in Scottsbluff. And first off, Catlin, this is a really cool venue for our radio audience. Check out the video at some point, but this is a really neat venue.
Well, thank you very much. It's been a passion project for our family as we've kind of gotten up and running, and it's been neat to kind of see it grow over the years, and we're just excited about what we're doing.
Let's talk about the name Papa Moon. It's very interesting, unique, the decor, everything about it. Talk about how that came to what it is now.
Yeah, so Papa Moon is actually my father-in-law. We kind of named everything after him. He was a horticulturist major in college, so he started planting all of the grapes out here about 15 years ago. And then when we started, he had no intentions of actually making wine or anything like that, but my husband and my brother-in-law were kind of at that stage in their lives where they're like, wait a minute, we can make alcohol out of this, right? So they kind of got started in making the wines, and then when we actually became a business and we're, making wines to sell and ciders and things like that, trying to figure out a name, and it just seemed fitting to name it all after him since he's the one who got it started. So, yeah.
Really cool story. It's interesting, too, because on the Nebraska Beef Passport program, obviously we're going to meat lockers, meat shops, restaurants. This is, I think, the only one this year on the Nebraska Beef Passport that's a cidery, if you will, cidery brewery. That's really kind of cool, because obviously you do have Nebraska beef, so that's pretty unique.
Right, yeah, it's kind of neat. I don't think there's actually very many cider houses in Nebraska anyways. I think there's maybe a couple other ones, but we're one of the only ones in the panhandle of Nebraska, So
let's talk about this location. This is the second location from what I understand. Really great facility. Break it down for us.
Yeah, so we started out as just a winery. So we started about 15 years ago just making wine. And our first location is out on our property, actually. We call it Papa Moon the Farm now. And it's just a small tasting room. And then when we actually got started with the ciders and doing more and more of that, we just needed more space. So that was primarily the biggest reason for the move. We decided that we needed more production space, bigger tanks, be able to distribute. Right now we distribute all across Nebraska, but in order to be able to keep up with the demand, we needed more space. So we bought this building, renovated it to fit our needs, got the bigger tanks, all of that kind of stuff, and then we're a little bit crazy and decided to do a restaurant along with it. So
let's talk about the meat that you have. Again, this is the Nebraska Beef Passport program, so that you guys offer here at Papa Moon.
Yeah, so we do, of course, barbecue, and so we smoke all of our own meats. We've got a lot of really great brisket that we smoke in-house. We do all of our patty, hamburger patties and stuff, we take our trimmings from our brisket and grind it into what becomes our hamburger patties for all of our hamburgers, and everything is great.
And how did you decide what would work or what you'd want to serve here on your menu?
Yeah, so we, we've got a really great kitchen crew that is really good at coming up with different menu items, and they're very creative, and so we just kind of utilize them, and they are great at figuring out featured menus and stuff like that.
And is a lot of that beef Nebraska beef, or do you know kind of where most of your stuff's coming from, or what does that look like?
Yeah, so we, of course, have a supplier that brings in all of our beef and everything for us, but all of the beef is from Nebraska. I think it gets processed out of Colorado, and then it gets shipped back into Nebraska, so.
Again, we're talking to Catlin Massey, who's the owner of Papa Moon here in Scottsbluff, part of KRVN Sizzling across Nebraska. All right, again, we know this is a Nebraska Beef Passport stop, but this is one of the only locations, as we mentioned before, that is a cidery technically as well. So let's dive into that as well, because I think that's something we should know. Talk about what goes into being a cider, if you will, and the differences between that and other places.
Yeah, so cider and beer are a little bit different because cider takes a little bit longer process to be able to make. So most beers you can, make a batch and get it on the shelves and in cans and stuff in a couple of weeks. Cider is a little bit different because it takes probably about 6 months to make from start to finish. So our batches, can take anywhere from 6 months to 8 months, depending on which ones we do, and just the way our processing works. Ciders are a lot more similar to wine in that regard. So it's just apples versus grapes.
How about the grapes that you are using? Are those all something that you guys are growing?
Yeah, so all of the wine that we make, we grow all of our own grapes for and make everything in-house, and we pretty much do it all start to finish. We still hand pick all of our grapes and all of that kind of stuff every year. So
yeah, no, it's a really cool thing as we kind of lean back into the beef passport side of things. If we had to be recommended by you, what should we try? What do you feel like is your guys' best foot forward on the food side of things? What should me and Tyler and anyone else that's stamping their passport try?
Oh, my top number one recommendation to everybody that comes in is the brisket tacos. So we do a house smoke on all of the brisket, and then we have local made corn tortillas here from one of the tortilla factory, and it's my favorite thing on the menu. So.
Why is it important for you guys to be a part of the Nebraska Beef Passport program? Why'd you guys sign up?
We signed up because we thought it was a really great way to kind of feature some of the things that we're doing with the beef that we have in-house. And it's a great way to get people in the doors to try some of those really great special dishes, and then maybe, have a cider or two at the same time. So.
And I imagine, too, it's been kind of neat to see maybe not the usual customers, the ranchers, the farmers are like, I don't know about that with cider and Nebraska beef, but I'm sure that's been kind of neat.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of neat to get them in here and just kind of trying something different that they normally wouldn't. I feel like sometimes the ranchers, they're like, nope, we know what we like and that's it. But it's kind of been fun to get everybody in the door and be able to get them, to try a few different things that they normally wouldn't. So
if someone's interested in swinging on by, because there's the two locations, there's this one, which is called Headquarters, and Farm, which is kind of the original location. Mm-hmm. What's the best place to get information on the hours for those? What are those hours, and how can people find out more?
So we always recommend people to check out our Facebook page or Instagram page. We're really good about keeping that updated about hours, because our farm location, we're just open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but we're sometimes closed for special events. So we say always check out our Facebook page to check out those hours. Our headquarters location here in Scottsbluff, address is 3109 Avenue B. But our hours here are a little bit more steady. We're open Wednesday through Sunday from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. So.
All right, very good. Well, make sure you stop on by here at Papa Moon in Scottsbluff. That is Catlin Massey, who is the owner, and our latest stop of KRVN Sizzling across Nebraska.